Shulam and Brocha, let's learn together a bit of Sefas Emes on the Parsha of Kedoshim. So the Parsha starts with the famous words, by Daber Hashem el Moshe Leimer. Hashem spoke to Moshe saying, Daber el kol adas b'nai Yisrael, v'yamatu aleihem, Kedoshim tihiyah, ki kudash ani Hashem Elokeichem. Speak to the entirety of the community of the children of Israel, B'nai Yisrael, and say to them, you shall be holy, for holy am I, Hashem, your God. So the Pasuk seems to be instructing us to emulate Kaviyuchel the Eibishter. The Eibishter is Kodesh, we're Kodesh, so we have to be Kodesh. So just as he's Kodesh, we should be Kodesh. So how can we possibly be Kodesh like Kaviyuchel, like God? It's not possible. So the Pasuk itself gives us a clue. The Pasuk could have ended, Ki Kodesh Ani, for I am holy, meaning the Eibishter, and stop there. So why does it say Hashem Elokeichem, Hashem your God? So the Medrash that brings out on the Sefas Emes, the first words of Sefas Emes is Anochi Hashem Elokeicha. I am God, your Lord. So the Medrash explains that even though Hashem is the Lord of all the world, of all the nations, he indicated, the Eibishter indicated and dedicated himself specifically to B'nai Yisrael. Hashem Elokecha, I've chosen you. So of course God gives life and existence to the entirety of the creation. But still, he is more manifest in us, in B'nai Yisrael. So Hashem makes a point of telling us that we can be holy specifically because not only is Kaviyuchel the Eibishter holy, but he is also our God. So the life force, the energy of every Yid is actually a part of Kaviyuchel the Eibishter as it is. So by separating us from other nations and bringing us close to himself, Kaviyuchel the Eibishter gave us the ability to emulate him and become holy. So Chazal are teaching us that this pasuk is more than just a mitzvah. It's a promise. It's a promise. What does it mean, though, this word holy? What does that mean? So in Lashon Kodesh, the Hebrew, the word holy, Kodesh, indicates separated. It's a nuance that is lost in translation. So let's just we're going to have to delve into it for a moment. In this sense, Kaviyuchel the Eibishter is holy since Hashem, is separate from everything. Right? Eibishter is above everything. Paradoxically, he fills the entire creation. So he's in everything, and he's separate from everything and above everything. You have to think this out, right? I said it, but think about it. So this idea is actually found in the Medrash on this week's Parsha. The Medrash starts off by telling us some pshat, an understanding of Tehillim. The words are, the Atum Muraim Liolam Hashem. You are always on high, Hashem. So the Medrash explains that Hashem's hand is always on top. Now, the Sfas Emes brings out that the word li'olam, always, also means hidden, and the word for world. So the Medrash is teaching us that Kaviyuchel Hashem's hand is hidden in this world. He is separate and yet hidden within the universe, giving life to it. So it follows that every action has a spiritual, godly force that allows it to happen, that gives it its existence. And because of our closeness to Hashem as being Bnei Yisrael, we too can become holy by connecting to the spiritual within our physical actions. Now, just as an aside, something that the Sefas Emes brings down in a different context. We have mitzvahs that are chukim and mishpatim. Chukim means Hashem gave us this law. We don't understand why. It doesn't have a necessity, a particular meaning. As far as our understanding is, it's a chok. Hashem wants you to do this. Shotness, there are different mitzvahs. We don't understand exactly. It's a chok. Then there are mishpatim. Mishpatim means we understand. Thou shalt not kill. It's a civilized world knows you don't kill. So I understand God gave me this law because it's something that I understand, that I can fathom. So let's say in our times, as we live now, it's interesting, the Piasetzner Rebbe, the Aish Kodesh, talks about this in last week's Parsha, and two dear friends came to me and spoke to me and brought up this particular piece of Torah from the Rebbe. The Rebbe says mitzvahs are meant to bring us closer to Hashem. Those are the vehicles to connect us to Kaviyach of the Eish. How is it then possible? And now this was written in the first year of the war, of the Second World War. They were building the ghetto, the walls of the ghetto. The Germans were building the walls of the ghetto when this Torah was spoken of. So the Rebbe says, how is it that everything that we see, that we know brings us closer to God, davening with a minyan, teaching our children in cheder, all these things that we take for granted, these were things that we did all the time. This kept us Knesset Yisrael. This kept us as a people. So at this moment, this most dangerous moment in our lives, Hashem has taken this away. Closed all the base medrashes, closed all the minyanim. How is it chaya? What's God? So Hetzner writes there, they were talking about a plague that would would strike someone's house. It was a spiritual situation. It wasn't something that we understand metaphysical. It was beyond the physical. And the Kohen would come and say, no, you have a nega, you have something wrong with the house. And they ended up taking apart the whole house. And underneath, they would find, Rashi brings down, underneath in the foundations, they found treasures that had been hidden by the builders of the houses, which were our enemies from. So the Rebbe says, do you mean to say that all that taking the house apart, having to live chutz lemachna, going into isolation, being apart from everyone else, but the payoff was that there was treasure. Fine. So at that time, the Rebbe was giving chizik that despite what was happening around them, they were building walls and isolation from the rest of the world. Abisha meant that we will hopefully, as the war progressed, the Rebbe evolved his understanding and sharing with the Yidden who were in the ghetto. And he said something that I saw in the Sefas Emes. It's an interesting piece of it. He says Listen, the truth is, what we think is mishpatim, things that are understandable, let's again say, don't steal, don't rob, don't murder. We understand that. That's a mishpatim, yeah. And things we don't understand, it's called chukim. So everything, when you come to a point of real understanding, you should know that even the things that you think are mishpatim are really also chukim. Because everything that the Eibishter has given us and told us how to act, it's all chukim, it's all things beyond our control, our understanding. Hashem has reasons that we will never fathom. And although we might think that a particular thing makes sense, and even in our finite existence, actually it's also a chok. And even though the society will change its mind about certain things, but we have chok. This is our halacha, this is our Torah. And what makes sense today doesn't have to make sense tomorrow. It's all Hashem. And this is what we see now. We're put into isolation just when we want to do tshuva and we want to come close to the Eibusher, we can't. But that's a chok, because there'll be a reason that we may never understand it. But that's not the point. The point is we accept upon ourselves that the world is complicated, Hashem is running it, and this is what He wants. This is what He wants now. He wants us to be in this generation that has to go through this tikkun. So he brings down, so further with the Sefas Emes today, brings down that all Jewish neshamas, all Yiddish neshamas are connected to Hashem. And therefore they are connected with one another. Chazal tell us that all the neshamas of the nation of Bnei Yisrael together comprise what you could call a mega neshama, which is Knesset Yisrael, the congregation of Israel. And this mega soul, this mega neshama, is a powerful, ruchniistic force. And for this reason, the Torah makes a point of telling us that the mitzvah, Kedoshim Tihiyeh, you shall be holy, was said to the call of the whole of Bnei Yisrael. So Chazal tell us that Moshe Rabbeinu taught all the mitzvahs to the entire Bnei Yisrael. So why does the Torah single out this one, specifically say this was said to the entirety of Bnei Yisrael? So now we can understand, it's very clear, by instructing Moshe Rabbeinu to gather the entirety of the nation and to hear this particular mitzvah, that you have to be kadoshim, that you have to do and act as understanding that you're connected to the Kaviyuch of the Eibishter, and that your actions are part of the Eibishter's plan. God is teaching us how to perform it. When we cultivate a sense of identity with Bnei Yisrael as part of Klal Yisrael, when we recognize that we are part of the mega neshama called Knesset Yisrael, that Kaviyuch, a part of Hashem Himself, we are able to live in the physical world and yet connect with the spiritual. We connect to the spiritual power of our actions, right? And we are Magala, we reveal the hidden godliness, the Kedusha, the separate but part of, in our everyday activities. So this is the true meaning of the Chukim and Mishpatim, and this is the true meaning of where we're going in this place that we are in now. We're sitting at home. We're in isolation. The kids are going up and down the stairs. What's Tutzah? What's going on? Work on this. Think about it. Think. You could think deep thoughts now. Think about it. I don't understand what the Eibishter wants. And yet I'm going to, this is what we're doing, because we are part of Knesset Yisrael. We are part of this tremendous power that has kept the world going. And we will be here when the Mashiach will come. And then everything will be explained. And in Dame Sfas, that we work together and we connect together. The Eibishter will tell them, Mashiach hat kommen mamish bekurev. And in the Wahl soll man alle sein gesinnt und stark. And we should be mechazik each other and keep each other forward marching and forward looking and never ever give in to bitterness or into fear. Man soll sehen, warte, that Mashiach hat kommen, haben alles sein zusammen bekurev in Gesinnterheit.